Yes, it is. Ooh, it's all backwards. Wait. Oh, yeah, right. It's backwards, yeah. Gonna have to do it. Well, that's. I got it because it's. Oh, it's doing something. Oh, I see it. I see it. I don't have it here yet. You're forecasting for 23 seconds. Come on, internet. There we go. My stupidness is immortalized. That's actually. What I need to do is figure out a way to hold this box right here until we start. I assume this is about where it should be. I can't see. Okay. It is a shotgun mic. It's supposed to do that.
Hello. At some point we realized, wait, we're just showing an empty room. That's no good. Put the box in front of the camera. Yeah, welcome to our warehouse. What's up there? Rachel! Rachel's up there. This episode of Sesame Street is brought to you by. This episode of Sesame Street is brought to you by Up and Down. Hmm? All right, there are people standing there. You go there. Yeah. Stand there. Next to your box. That's your name. This is designer Mosso. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Peter. Great game. Yes. I really love this. Like someone has just like put it in me. These are nice too. Whatever meat technology they have these days. I got it in high school. For a long time. And then I was trying to find it. Wood cutting treated. So they build a metal form and like a big piece of background. But I literally like I like go and I'm practically I'm watching videos. I did not know this women at all. I really want to be back on. So I watched it for Eric Mosso is the water here. Downhill director. And no. Like a little bit of like a These are little Victorian houses. Yeah, you have to build first you go to college. And the town itself has 80 landmarks. So he does. You're also building businesses. You need that for money. Not very big. They all get back.
Do you get rentals or is it like your?
They're yours, basically yours, throughout the game, so when you go over things like that. They're free ones, but income for where it comes from.
Okay.
So you've got more for businesses, less for homes.
Yes, I mean, for your home.
Yes, it's like. So that's the best word about your person in this place. They have a big contest in the gym. You know, for 24 hours, how many species do you see?
Wow.
And the record's 150 something.
I didn't know they're telling the truth.
That's the truth. So that's what it is. Your set collection in the stories.
That's gorgeous. And is this your first board game?
I designed a few others. This is the first one that's got. I had one on fixed and save.
Oh, wow.
Fixed and save is not just our ships. We are the best. Consider for the world. Money, they also trying to get quicker. It's how they go to the zone.
1 minute, 50 seconds.
Some people are looking at it. So it's based on fixed. They want every one of those.
That's cool.
This took 4 years to get. Took a couple of years. Run a mile, tell the years, run a mile, get some beer.
You got the art?
I have no computers. It was hand-drawn. It was hand-drawn. Compared to other prototypes and other designers. They're using computer. He's still like. I was like.
We're gonna get started. If you want to find a seat, or feel free to move around. I think, So I appreciate you all coming out to our not quite yet ready space on the second floor. I know it's been, those of you that have been following us for a while, like, yeah, you're going to have the game room open in the spring. And it's hopefully next spring at this point. But this is a small preview. We will eventually have the gaming area up there. This will be more retail space. It's got a bit more permitting that we need to do. But one of the things that I immediately thought of, we have the space for it, is I wanted to do basically the equivalent of a book launch, the way authors do at bookstores. I've attended many book launches at the bookstores down the street. I'd love to be able to do that for game designers. So I'm going to bring on up our favorite game designer, as Games Unlimited, Todd Sanders. Some of you may know him. He's done quite a few published games. More importantly, he does our micro game that we've done for a number of years.
Yes,
And Todd has worked with Eric a little bit, so I'm going to have Todd introduce Eric.
Hello all. Today we are here to take a look at Cape May by new game designer Eric Mosso. I've been for a little over a year now. Come on in, Eric. I actually do prototype graphic design for Eric for some of his games.
and I'm happy to be here to ask some questions of Eric today. I actually have a cheat sheet because I'm old school. I'll just park that there.
I don't have anything.
So I've known you for a while, Eric. Why don't you start telling people how you became a board game designer, what got you inspired with designing games? We all have a different way to get into the industry.
Well, I first started doing scenario design for a game called Memoir 44. If everybody knows that game. It's a war game. Comes with a generic board and you make designs. And there was an online site, so I started making designs for these battles for Memoir 44, and they really got popular. People really liked them, and I started to get requests to send them to like Europe to do tournaments. They started doing some of the scenarios at the World Board Gaming Championships. I don't know if you guys go to that. That's a really neat place to do. And I said, oh, yeah, this is fun. I like doing it, like doing research and things like that. So from there, I said, I'm thinking I'll try to design a game for myself with my own mechanics. I was using Richard Board's mechanics. There it is. There, yeah. That's you won't see my designs, my scenarios in there, but online I've found tons of them. But so I said, okay, what do I do? I like history stuff. So I said, I'll make a design about a Renaissance game. And showed to my game buddies, have them play it after I designed it and play tested myself. They were enthusiastic about it. Saying, why don't you try to present this thing? So I did Academy games, which is pretty popular. They do war games. My game was really a war game, but they happened to be at the World War Gaming Championships. I showed them the game. They liked it too. So we were around for about a year or so, and they decided it wasn't war gaming enough, so they didn't do it. So in the meantime, my wife and I, about 4 years ago or so, maybe 5, I've been to Cape May a bunch of times. My kids were small, we used to go all the time. My sister lives in Philly, so we go there all the time. I knew nothing about Cape May. It's pretty. All these Victorian homes, I didn't know why they were all there. So I went there, and 4 years ago with my wife, we took a trolley tour. And the lady on the trolley tour gives you the history of the town. And wow, they did that. Biggest hotel in the world. Oldest resort in the United States. Best bird watching place in the East Coast. Wow, this town's pretty cool. So we got off the trolley. Literally, we got off the trolley. I said to my wife, I'm designing a board game about this town. I'm a Euro game player. I like Euro games. And almost every town in Europe has a Euro game named after it. Think about it. So let's try one for the United States. So I designed a game. Play tested a million times with some friends. They all were enthusiastic about it. And then I took it to some shows, like Origins, and did a Shark Tank thing. A lot of rejections at start, to tell you the truth. And then about 4 years ago, I presented to Thunderless Games. Their game is basically role player, and deal with role player and cartographers and stuff. This really isn't up their alley. I said, I'll try it. And Keith, who's in charge of Thunderworks, really liked it. He was enthusiastic about it. Took the prototype, which was hand-drawn, because I had no computer skills. Completely hand-drawn, everything. And from there, he just really liked it. We made some changes back and forth. Not many. In fact, the board layout is pretty much exactly how I initially drew the board layout, surprisingly. And we went from there. Glad here we are today. He did a wonderful job with the game. It's gorgeous.
So I know from doing graphic design for your prototypes that you do.
Now he does
a whole lot of research.
Yes, a whole lot of research.
Does the research come first or the mechanics?
Research is first. I have to get the idea first. So, and then after research is, can I make a game of this? And my other prototypes are from research I did for the ideas I came up with. But it was definitely research first.
Okay. Yeah. What's your favorite game mechanic to use? Because we all, as
man, it's tough. I'm a Euro game. You know what's funny with my games? A lot of them are multi-use cards, I guess. How you use the cards, you have to use it different ways. If I think about my game design. Yeah,
you're definitely not an American gamer of dice rolling. And
no, I am not. I like people having ideas and trying to, using their cards for, do I want to do it for this, or do I want to do it for that kind of stuff.
I almost feel you fall a little more under the Stephen Feld point salad things.
There's not a point
that-
scored, yeah.
Yeah, that you're not, I mean, they're competitive, but there's really a lot of avenues.
Yes, a lot of avenues to take to get to win.
Yeah. And there's a lot of components to this one too, a lot of plastic vacuum stuff.
Yeah, it's a heavy box, it's like 5 pounds.
So I know this has a sole option as well, and then you've got an expansion to it.
Yeah,
Already is
expansion
two.
comes with the game. I think it has the expansion sitting over there. So, the expansion has an extra event card. They built a big giant elephant there to compete with the lighthouse for viewing the town. It lasted about a year. I mean, literally a giant elephant. How many stories it was? It's kind of strange, but and then you get individual character cards to have special power, but it's only a one-time use special power. It's not 100.
So was this kickstarted or did
No, he went right to
publisher
it.
just went right to it?
Yeah, he went right to it. No Kickstarter. Yeah. You know, most games are Kickstarter, but not this one.
So you said you like playing your games. You got the top 3 games you like playing?
No, there are a lot of good games. I think it changes. I can't say I have a top 3. I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a bunch of good games I like.
I mean, I know I'm primarily a solo designer, and I've done some games for 2 players, but 2 to 4 becomes a different kind of animal
Yes.
when you're doing game design. Because 1-on-1 is okay, but having 4 players, there's
Yeah, you got to get the mechanics and get the balance right. The balance is probably the hardest thing. You got to get the balance right. So, and to get the score to be fairly close at the end, you want anybody to feel that, oh, I'm out of the game like halfway through the game. That's horrible. We don't want that. And this game doesn't do that. So
Right.
at the end, it's close.
It was like the Ryan Misha thing of the person in last place
Yeah.
goes first,
Yeah.
or the person who has the second most points is the one who scores.
Yeah.
For
Those
that
are
game.
good that way, sure. Yeah. Mine doesn't do that, but it does. That's a good way to keep things balanced, so keep people interested.
Right. That's very interesting. So what else you got coming up? What's the production or
I
partial?
have 3 other prototypes that you've done, really 4. There's a card game about rugs. Again, you're using multi-use cards, which is like 4 uses on the card to play it. It's a simple card game. Then I've got a game about conservatories, and it's based off of Phipps Conservatory. It's a Pittsburgh conservatory. It's very famous. And people don't know that they're not just flower shows. They're really the cutting edge of environmental stuff. And the game has a combination, keeping your environmental footprint down, where you're putting on shows to make money, and you're getting innovations to keep your footprint down. It's a partly tile-laying game, a meeple placement game, things like that.
You said that there's a Euro publisher that's interested in that one? Or
There's a couple looking at it, but we'll see. I think they're waiting to see what this does.
Right.
So it does happen, sure. The other one is I've got a game on a dog show game.
Right. That was something to lay out.
Yeah, that was again using multi-use cards. Am I going to use the card for dog? Am I going to use the card for the text? Or am I going to use the card for trade? So you got to decide there. And there's shows throughout the game. And it was like best of show.
Breeding dogs.
Breeding dogs, yes, we're breeding dogs. It's kind of cool. There's dice in that one, though, right?
Yeah, with piece of game.
There's dice in that one. And then I've got what's my other one? I have that, and I've got Modern Medicine game. Yeah, it's Modern Medicine. It's based on hospitals, building hospitals, where all the stuff going on around here. Basically, you're a corporation and you're building departments and sending doctors to these departments to get patients and money. And it's not it's a worker placement, but there's only one worker at a time. It's a quick game, fairly quick game. And again, you have the multi-use cards somewhat in the game. And your doctor starts getting better. You start with an intern, you get a resident, then you get a attending doctor, then you get a department head. So as you go up, your money increases, your patients, which are victory points at the end of the game, gets better. But there's also a negative too, just like in my other game with the botanical garden game, because you can go down, you can go up with your environmental footprint if you put something on a tile that maybe gives you money, like a a shop or something on the tower. But in the modern medicine game, some of the departments, there's negatives because people die, like a cancer department versus a rehabilitation department. Rehabilitation, so you get more money or more patients at one versus the other. So there's like a playoff between one and the other. So those are the games that you've done for me, really. So
well, that's one of the things I like and respect about you is even today with all the things that are out there, there's still a lot of games for Renaissance, a lot of games for zombies, and you know, at least you're looking at some really kind of different themes, and it's not something that can easily be. You can't take the doctor game and say, all right, this is going to be.
Yeah, there's a
this Renaissance trading game.
There's a lot of stuff like innovations. Like I had to research all these innovations in medicine. This and that.
And then I had to spell them.
Yeah, you had to spell them out for you. But you know, people look like that. They can look it up. They can say, "What is this?" And they look it up and say, "Hey, this is pretty cool." But yeah, I'm not a big. I think there's enough monster games out there. I mean, people like this, but I'm not big. I'm not big monsters and space games. There's a million space games out there. I just I think maybe something different might be cool.
So if you had all the time and money, carte blanche, what would you really want to design? Like,
I got the three I designed after this one. I really like them. I think those are, especially the Phipps Conservatory one. I really like a lot. Medicine game is really good, and the dog show is kind of cool too because there's I don't know if there's any dog show games out there. Is there dog games? People love dogs, so you get to learn about the size of dogs. You get to learn about where they're at on with popular dogs versus least popular dogs, get you more money, stuff like that.
Speaking from the graphic design point of view, I like this one because we can relate to custom meeples. The card designs are clean. So it's been one thing doing your prototypes is trying to take what you do in pencil and turn it into this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think they did a great job in this. There's some clean stuff going on in the game, but yeah, I really like these meeples that are
these
different shapes.
not just the color, the shapes are different. Also.
Right.
Like I said, the board game, you like the angulation.
Yeah.
It started out like that. It's pretty.
Yeah.
Came out.
The whole board is 45.
Yeah, I did it to fit it on paper. Chiefly, they get this one there too.
Well, let's turn over the audience. Anybody have any questions out there?
Yeah.
In the audience?
I actually got to play this twice on Thursday. It's fantastic, by the way.
Well,
But
thank you.
the one-way streets, was that an add-on of your
Yes,
own?
definitely add on. Because
Okay.
initially,
I wasn't sure. I'm like, I don't know if that's meant to be there, but that's awesome that you can't actually circle back around to get
right,
back to.
it was added on after a few play tests.
I like that you can't
Because
backtrack,
people just
right?
rush to certain spots. I wanted to have to think how to use your card or use the activity cards to go somewhere.
Well, I the one that I haven't seen it yet in the games I played, but the one that allows you to go back to the start
Yes,
is really helpful because it's hard to get way back up there
right.
Turn the
if you
camera
don't
off.
have a jump.
Just see what's going on. We're talking about here. I see there's actually another board on the back.
Yeah, there's one or two players.
Two player count on one side.
Okay.
One or two player count.
It's
Yeah.
terrific.
Three,
It was
four.
really good. I won one and came in last in the second one. It was both fun.
Well, I have to say, I just got the games like a week or so ago, and I haven't had a chance to play many games. I think I played it 3 times so far. I've lost every time. Yikes.
Yeah, you were a victim for a while of some supply chain.
Yeah.
Issues
it's
on this
tough.
one.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
supposed to be out last year.
We were hoping it would be at Origins. I missed you. I knew you were there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I missed you with Pat. I know you and Pat were
Yes,
hanging
yes.
out. Kept
That's
missing
his
you.
next one. He wants his copy. So.
Good things come to those who wait.
Yes, absolutely. I'm really happy. Michael Menzel did the art.
Yeah, it's very good.
Top artist. So he spared no expense. Yes.
I'm curious about how you chose the mechanisms for the game and how those kind of developed over time.
Well, first of all, the mechanism, I had to get the idea for what did I want to do. So why is there all those Victorian homes there? So it burned down pretty much in the late 1800s. So the first thing I thought was, okay, I want to make the game where you're building the town. Your character coming in to rebuild the town. That's the game. So if you're going to rebuild the town, let's get a layout of the town and go from there. Mm-hmm. And then it started out with, doing the cottages and the Victorian homes, and I wanted the landmarks. So there's like more towns there, buildings there, so that's important. And the birds were added later. They said, yeah, let's make this a collection. I'll put some spots on there, and then you collect bird tokens to get more points at the end of the game. Also, we had to figure out. I wanted to do the other buildings, the business buildings, but people aren't going to go there because you get more points doing the other stuff, doing the Victorian homes. So we had to give some incentives to do it. And the two incentives were this. One, you get points inversely related to closest to the beach. In other words, in-game scoring, the majorities are higher here versus here. Now, Victorian home building is higher here versus here. So it makes you play on both ends of the board. If you don't, you're not going to win for sure. If you just, because the first time I played with somebody, he ran ahead and did all this and he came in last. So you're not going to win that way. The other incentive, we had to make another incentive. The other incentive is to get these cards here. So if you build a upgraded business from your shop, which is this shop, then you get a card from that region. So as the region gets higher, you get more costly to businesses, but your bonus card, we'll call it, gets more valuable. So there's two reasons. You get more money, you get that card. It helps incentivize you to build businesses. The plastic piece. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, and how did you balance that over time?
Oh, you have to play test it a million times. You have to play test it. Sometimes it don't work at all. You try this, try that. Yeah, it's all play testing. What's the idea? You would know that.
Yes, that's probably the sweet spot. 2 to 4, at least as a solo designer.
Yeah.
Playtesting is a little easier, but 2 to
it-
4, you
it's
gotta
tough.
have all those different.
Yeah, you gotta do it. I have two groups that I play with that are really receptive to my game, so I can play test.
Well, it's also important to play with people who don't know. And you just
Yes.
plug them down in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that's hard to do though sometimes. I miss the people. I mean, there's a lot of people that I play with, so.
But like that's part of the developer, the publishers.
Yeah,
Choose.
yeah.
You give to them.
Oh, they
and
made some
they're right
changes
there.
too. They ran through some stuff. They made some minor changes. So, but, yeah.
So do you have, I would be a leading question, but, so a lot of times you work with publishers, they do what they want because they have their own branding ideas, what they want to do. Was there discussions with the graphic designer? Were there discussions with the publisher? Did
There
you
was
have some
definitely
voice in what you're
discussions
doing?
with the publisher. We would go back and forth, yes. Yes, there were some changes made that they consulted me. I tried it, play tested it. Yeah, this is going to work. I like the idea. But in general, a lot of the stuff was pretty much what you see. I mean, we did make some changes. He was very receptive though. Excellent.
Yeah, I noticed being graphic designer for several publishers, often we're just given the game, we kind of work it out as we go along, but we're creating a whole kind of user interface to the whole thing.
Yeah, let me say this. I had no say in graphic design. I have no talent. I mean, you have graphic design talent. I don't. So I let them, do the design work with the cards and stuff. I didn't as far as that goes.
You have a game shelf cleared out for your games as you start to get boxes and boxes of games?
Yeah, I do have some, yeah. I'm doing that, yeah. And I have a lot of games I have to give to friends and stuff.
That's part of the fun.
That's part of the fun, yeah.
Have a game shelf for your own stuff on it.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's gonna be a big time. So, all my nieces and nephews who play, they're really like 3 groups, my nieces and nephews play. So they're gonna look at the games, and play. So.
Anybody else up there?
Anything else?
When you did the solo cards,
I did, one thing real quick, I didn't do the solo game.
oh,
Yeah.
someone else did.
Yeah, I
the
did have a
design.
solo game for it. They didn't want to use it, they designed their own. So Scott Bogan did the solo.
Oh, okay.
I had really not, that's the only thing I didn't have anything to do.
All right.
Yeah, that was his.
I was just wondering how much crossover was there a lot of canceling out, whether the solo player couldn't do something or the AI couldn't do something, and that's why they changed the seasons.
Yeah, I think he did a good job. I mean,
Yeah.
I tried it one time and I thought it was mechanically pretty nice.
Yeah.
Did you play it? Did you try it?
I didn't play the solo version, but I saw the mechanics of it and
Yeah,
how
it
it works,
does.
and I thought, oh, well, what if I've already built there and that card comes up?
Yeah, you just have to.
Just go to the next season.
Next season. Yeah. Yeah, but it's no, I didn't. I had a different one. Mine was kind of weird. Mine was Emlyn Physic. This is the Emlyn Physic estate when they were going to tear it down and guys that went in there to tear it down thought there was ghosts there, and said, no, we're not tearing that down. So they restored it. It's beautiful. And it's, so my game is you're going around town building stuff, but Emily Physics chasing you around as a ghost. There's ghost cards. And there were some of them were funny things and some weren't. But his is better. So, it's more.
21 in the back.
Yes.
Yeah, so is there a gateway game that you would say this is a good transition from?
From this game here is, I would call it mild to moderate in difficulty. I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
Well, is there something, is there another game that's,
another
that
game.
has a
Tickets to
feel?
Ride. Tickets to Ride is kind of a gateway game. I mean, I think that's pretty easy. Settlers Catan's pretty gateway-ish. This is probably a little bit above that, but a kid can play. If you can count, and you can do this.
I think the card manipulation is probably.
That's the hardest part.
harder
Yeah,
part.
because that's what's make or break the game. How you manipulate your cards. Yeah.
Right.
Both your movement cards and your activity cards.
Yeah.
That's the whole key.
Which is always a multi-use
Yes.
games. You want that kind of balance.
Yes.
That I got two different things I want to do. I wish I had two of these cards, but I don't have them. So
Right. Do I want to move like you said back here? Do I want to use the card to build something? Sometimes it's better to move, and then because you can do things quicker later on. Things like that. I think it's a little above the gateway, but nothing. I didn't want to make it real complicated. My other ones aren't complicated either. I want a general public to play. Plus, I want women to play, not just guys. You know, the more women can play, the better.
are there any game stores in Kickney?
Yes, there's one, and I heard that someone put on the BGZ website that they stopped at the Fudge Factory there. Anybody's been to get in Fudge Factory? And they have games there. They have some of the games there already. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Built it on.
Yeah,
It's the key to the city.
Yeah.
Talk to the mayor.
yeah, maybe I will talk to them and see what he says.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
you're gonna sell it down there.
Oh, they'll sell a lot down there. In fact, what's funny is the publishers, none of the publishers have never been there yet. But no, they'll sell it there because rainy day in the summer, they have a Cape May Monopoly game. They have a
All right,
Monopoly.
that's good. That's a transitional game. Then you play Caveman off.
Yeah,
you
you,
work
but
your
I don't
way.
like Monopoly. I don't like, you guys like, I don't like Monopoly. I hate it. This game ends. Monopoly never ends.
I don't think you're getting much argument from people on this.
I don't think so. These are real people that play games.
Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Well, then I guess we will wrap it up. I'll turn it back over to Kylie for the see you later goodbyes.
Well, so, one of the things you mentioned, any of you interested in picking up a copy, we do have the mini expansion that we're giving away for free. And of course, if you'd like to pick up a copy and get Eric to sign it, I'm sure he'd be happy to do that. You do have to answer the age-old question though, like, do you sign the top of the box or inside the lid? Because I know gamers they differ on that.
Inside the lid.
Inside the lid. Yeah.
Inside the lid.
Nope, I want it on the cover.
See, yeah, so if anyone's interested in picking up a copy, we can do that. And if Eric's willing, I mean, we've got some time. If anyone wants to play a game, I haven't had a chance to play it yet. We've got this copy. If anyone wants to pick up a copy, we can, depending on your comfort level, we can set up some tables. I'm sure Eric would be happy to show us. Well, apparently Jason knows how to play too.
It's excellent. It's really good. I had so much fun with it on Thursday. As soon as they said, well, what are we gonna play next? I like to play that again.
Well,
And I came in last the second time, but it was still fun.
It's really fun.
Well, thank you, Eric.
Yeah, thanks, Connie, for inviting me.
We look forward to your next one.
Are we, Kylie, are we taking him from here or do you want something
Yeah,
else?
yeah, no, if you want a copy, go ahead and come on up, he'll sign it, and then you can just take a copy downstairs and go bring it up.
I didn't know about that. I'm like, oh, I didn't bring one.
Yeah.
If I have something else.
I don't even have any other car.
Yeah.
I guess I need to put some.
We take them all. No.
Right. I've been in touch with Kyle.
Someday when we come
I told him, you didn't get all the copies. tuning.
Someday when it becomes my kid's problem.
Have you?
When I die.
Well, basically, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would. Yeah. That art's
Don't want to ruin Michael's art.
I made it based off of this poster.
Really?
Love
That would, oh, I'm doing a
She's doing.